Do you pass the vibe check? Over the last 3 or 4 months, I experimented with a bunch of different AI agents. I messed around with different AI tools such as ChatGPT, Claude Code, which I'm going to do the demo of today. There's Cursor, the Gemini for like Google. The term vibe code, what that is, it's a software development process that leverages AI to generate code from natural language prompts, more or less allowing users to vibe. So it's more about your ideas and your creativity versus your skill set and knowledge of a coding language, for instance. So you're no longer limited by the your skill set. You're only limited now by the amount of creativity that you have. So what we looking to accomplish today is very basic. We're going to set up a machine from scratch, get it set up with Claude Code. We're going to create a GitHub account. If you don't know what GitHub is, that's a central repository where you can keep your code base. So if you do your code here, you can pretty much sync it to the cloud, have it safe. You can have what's called pull requests, where you can submit your code. You can have different versioning. So say you screw something up, you can revert back. It's a good best practice. We're going to effectively use Claude Code to code an application. We're going to try to make a vibe playlist app. The goal of the app is to basically have a mood that you can enter in that then it does an API call, queries to a website called Deezer. Never heard of it, but apparently they have an open API. So again, what we're going to do, we're going to start setting up stuff from scratch. Again, this is the goal. The goal is to set up a vibe playlist. Build a tiny web app with users types a vibe, an example like Coffee Shop, and gets 10 tracks, cover artists, 30 seconds preview using the Desert Search API. I might be saying that wrong. All in a single index.html, no frameworks. So it's supposed to be super simplistic. So first of all, to start, what you want to do, and there's your definition of vibe coding, you want to go to GitHub. This is the first thing that we're doing. If you don't have an account, by all means, please sign up. It's free. It's really good to have. Just go ahead and do that. And when you have a GitHub, now what you want to do, you want to create your first new repository. This is your repo. This is what your code base is going to be. And we're just going to call it vibe playlist. You don't necessarily need a description, but in this case, this is where you'd want to write what your application or your code base is about. I'm going to leave it public. Normally, I put things as private to begin with, as I am doing projects and then launch them. For this, I'm actually going to leave this public. Anybody, I'll leave the link down below. You can mess around with the repository, mess around with the code and whatever. It can be kind of like a little open project for everybody. So we're going to leave that as public. We're going to add a README file just to have something added into it. Git ignore. We're not going to leave that. We're going to leave that as no and not going to add any licenses to it. The git ignore, what that does, that is if you have files that you have, we're going to sync this repository, and then so you have a copy of this repo in your local device. In this case, it's going to be on my Mac here. So I'm going to have a local copy of this code base. And if there's anything that I don't want to sync up to back to my GitHub account, such as if I have a configuration file that has like passwords in there, or you have any secrets or really sensitive information that you don't want to be out in the public, especially if you're leaving it as public, you would type it into git ignore, and then when you're syncing stuff, it just knows to not sync those files up. So good process. It's more security based for you. So we're going to create a repository. And obviously, I forgot to pick an owner, so I'm going to pick myself since I'm the only guy, and create this repository. Now that we have that, I'm just going to copy the URL so I have it for later. And we're going to just dump it into Obsidian just so I have that. Cool. So we have that. Now, what we're going to want to do now is set up our coding agent. And in this case, we're going to use Claude Code. If you don't know what Claude Code is, It's really fucking cool. It's what it is. I recently just kind of fell onto it by starting to use like a lot of different agents. I've been using ChatGPT. I've been using Gemini, even DeepSeek for a little while. And it's been cool to kind of use like artificial intelligence. If I use in any type of project, it's more of like, okay, I'm trying to code something, I copy it, I put it into the chat bot, it gives me an answer, I take it out, it's back and forth. Where Claude Codes kind of eliminates that kind of back and forth to where it does a lot of the coding for you. There's a free account that you can sign up for. I have the paid version, which I think is about $20 a month. There's a max version. All those different is just limits of how much you can actually use Claude Code. But again, we're going to set it up from scratch. So, and do that, you have to do a couple different things. First, we need to install Node.js, which I don't know if I have that installed on my computer already. So we're just going to see if we do first. So we're going to have a terminal open up, and we'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. And we're simply just going to try to install Claude Code off the bat. So it says right up there, it says npm not found, which means you do not have Node.js, or I do not have Node.js installed. So we need to get that first. So quickly just kind of Google install node.js and realize I didn't have to type Google in there. It's just a force of habit. All right, I'm going to copy the clipboard here. I'm just going to go back to my terminal and just paste that in. Cool. And if you want to make sure that it's installed, you can do it really quick. npm 2- version. That'll tell you if it has it, and it shows it has 11.6.0, which I think that's the latest one, even though it says 24.8.0. Either way, we got a return, so that means it's installed. So now we're going to go back and grab that first standard installation code snippet for Claude Code. We're going to paste that in. Now, this is a little misleading. I've got this error message before, and not error message, but I got this message before, and looking at that, it looks like I actually need to run another command, but you don't. It says run npm fund for details. It's simply to kind of fund the project, right? Claude Code is installed. It just doesn't tell you that is installed. It just says added 9 packages, but Claude Code is installed. So now what we want to do is make sure that I have a folder set up on my desktop here that is called test project. So what I want to do, I have a couple of different things in there already. I'm just going to clean those up real quick, get rid of those because we don't need them. This is the master plan that I have, which is basically what you're seeing on screen. So we just want to navigate to that document, to that folder, pardon me. I should just have the one. Okay, then to simply launch Claude Code, you just type Claude. And set up dark mode because dark mode is best. And now it's going to ask you to log in. It is a free version of this. If you want to sign up for free, again, I have the paid version. That I think it's well worth it. Okay, we are logged in. Now if we go back to our terminal, login successful. And this is just letting you know that Claude Code, and just like any other artificial intelligence, can be very, very wrong, very confidently. So you have to be careful when you vibe coding because a lot of people who are doing this have no background in software development or even IT or any type of information technology background. So you need to be careful. Like, I always double check your work. If you have a software developer friend or something, just kind of reach out just to make sure you're not putting bad code out there or any type of like vulnerabilities or anything like that. We're just gonna use the recommended settings for that. And yes, we want to give access to the test folder that I have. Cool. So now we're effectively, we're set. We can just start typing prompts to there. And the first thing I'm going to tell it to do, I'm going to tell it to clone this repo. And let's see effectively how it does. Now, I never done this before right off the bat. Normally, I clone a repo myself. So I'm curious how it's going to handle it. So what it's asking, it wants to install Git, and it comes up with a couple different things. Then you can do one of two things. You can either have Claude ask you every time when it wants to run a command, or you can do the yes to all and just kind of let Jesus take the wheel type of thing and just let it code for you. So we're going to do that. So it says it's been successfully did. So we don't have anything in there except for a README file, which is blank. But now we have that clone repository. So everything it's going to do, it's going to do it for this repo. So we already ahead of time, so we created accounts, we installed Node.js, we installed Claude Code. Now we're going to get to the actual agent. Now ahead of time, I built out this little prompt here, effectively of what I wanted it to do. Create a single file, web app name, index.html, like no frameworks, no tools. The app is called Vibe Playlist. Gives a little bit of a layout of exactly what we want it. We want it to have a header with an input, placeholder, chill coding, raining coffee, a generate button, copy playlist, grid up to 10 tracks, where to get it from. So this is a pretty good prompt. So we're just going to take it and let it do its thing. Now it might ask me a couple different questions. It might ask me to install some other like dependencies or something else in order for it to kind of test out. There's a lot of things you can kind of go from Claude Code to. You can have like MCP servers. That's kind of like more advanced. If you're looking to have more power with Claude Code and AI agents, let me know. I can make other videos, at least from what I know. I am not an expert by any means, but I know a little bit about everything enough to be kind of dangerous. So we're going to paste that right into Claude Code and just let it do its thing. Now, there's a couple other AI agents too that I mess with. There's other, OpenAI has one that's called Codex, and depending on who you ask, one have a preference over the other. Codex might be a little bit better at coding in general versus Claude Code, but I find Claude Code just to be more user friendly. I like the way the layout is. I like the way it tells me what exactly it's going to do. Like right now, it's doing its thing. And what you can do, you can either press escape, you can actually interrupt it if you forgot something, or what it also says Control T to show the to-dos, which looks like it's actually going to do something already. So here you go. So let's create this one index HTML page, a bunch of CSS. That's all CSS. Here's the HTML side of it, the button, generate. I'm trying to see exactly what does the API here. So here's the API call right there. And there's the query that it's supposed to enter in. It looks fantastic. Very cool. All right, so we're going to say yes. Go ahead and create. Now it's going to open a browser, and we're going to be able to test. There it is. One prompt already. So let's do what's the vibe? Geez, let's do matrix vibe and generate playlist. Oh, we have an error. Error loading play. Please try again. Okay, maybe it doesn't like matrix. Let's just try chill coding just to kind of see. Okay, we got an error. All right, so now we can kind of go into our dev tools, and this is where we start doing some debugging. And so we have a bunch of errors here, so it looks like it's blocked. And it could be blocked just because we don't have access to it. I don't know if you need to sign up for anything for it. So we're just going to copy the console here, and we're just going to paste it into Claude to see what it does. Okay, so it says need to fix the CORS issue. The API doesn't allow direct calls from browser due to CORS restrictions. Let me update that. Okay, so it saw the error and it found it. So we're going to let it do the edit. And this is what I like about Claude Code too, is that during it, it says that it thinks, it figured out a better way to do it. And, often or not, it troubleshoots its own right when it goes and says like, hey, there's a better way of doing this. I don't think we should do it this way. And then it kind of does it for you. So it created it again. First, let's see kind of what it did. So it adjusted the API call. And let's see, refresh the browser, and it says it's fixed. I updated the app to use all origins.win as a CORS policy. No idea what that is. To bypass browser same -origin policy. Okay, proxy URL now uses that. Okay. It says it should work properly. So let's try the first test that we did again. Is matrix. I think I put coding. What is it with matrix vibe? Coding. Generate. It's searching. Let's see if we get any results. Error loading tracks. And let's see why. Okay, so we responded with a 408. So let's copy that console. Before I do that, I don't know if a 408 means just they couldn't find anything. So let's put one of the things that it actually suggested and see. Like if there's no search results for like matrix web coding, that could possibly be a thing. But it does look like it is searching though. Okay, so now let's just type coffee. There's definitely coffee list. Okay, so we're still getting errors. All right, so we got that other web browser error log. So let's get the Claude Code now. Now it sounds a 408. I switched to courseproxy.io, which is more reliable. Okay, resolve any issues. Simpler. Try the app again. Enter a vibe like matrix vibe coding, and it should now successfully fail. Okay, well, let's do exactly what it said. It said it is. Let's see. Generate. No tracks found. Okay, that's different. Let's try coffee. Hey, we got what the hell was that? Okay, so let's see if that works. Yeah, play. Isn't that cool? That's freaking. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have? Let's try. Yeah, chill coding. First one. This probably sounds like crap coming over the microphone, but that works. Now from here you can go. Oh, what's this? This actually. Okay, but in other words, you understand the idea. So there's just a little bit of like copy and paste, and there's a copy playlist. I'm not sure what that does. Copied. So what does this do? Oh, it just copies all the music, I guess, which is neat. Within 3 to 4 prompts, I think that was 3 prompts. One really good, like, thought out prompt to say exactly what I want and give the Claude Code. And there's a little bit of back and forth and even what I did with the developer tools to be able to like to copy the console and paste it in the Claude Code. There's other ways to have it completely run autonomous to where you can set up what's called, as I mentioned earlier, an MCP server that allows Claude to have eyes so it can see exactly what it's doing in a browser session to be able to copy that console and like those log files off of that, and just to be able to see it in real time and see, oh, hey, there's an error, and just fix it while you're literally back chilling, having some coffee, and just kind of watching it do its thing, which is great. So one of the last things that we want to do now that we actually have a working product, we want to commit this. So we want this to actually be public in our repository that we have. So it said, this looks fantastic. Can you please commit this to GitHub? Perfect. Now it's just running a couple of different things. So it's doing Git initializing. So it's initializing Git, and then it's going to add this. So it's adding the index.html file, which is all it is. And that is going to now push that over to GitHub and to where it will be public for you guys to be able to see it. And here's the commit that we're wired. Every time you commit, you do what's called like a pull request. And so we give it a message of exactly what it is. And so this is the message that it's showing. This showing that it got a music discovery app, some features that it does, generated by Claude Code. And we're just going to say yes. We were able to successfully get that going. So now if we go back here, so we have our index, which is great. So one other cool thing we can kind of do, which is one thing that I really love that Claude does, is it does a great job at documentation. So as you saw, we had a README file that was completely empty. So we're going to task Claude to fill out the README of exactly what our application does. So very quick prompt. Can you fill out the readme.md? I think it's .md. Yep. README.md file with what our app does along, if I could type, along with its features. Then can't believe my audio cut out right at the end, but I guess I'm glad I did it right at the end instead of like 20 minutes before, because it's about 2 weeks later from when I did that video, and that would have sucked having to go back and redo all that audio. Anyways, hope you guys did enjoy that little kind of brief intro into the world of vibe coding. Try it out, get into it, try out the app, add on to it. See, create your little home lab and have Claude Code or Codex or Gemini. They have a CLI version of that now. And add on to the Vibe playlist that I have and see what you come up with. Maybe it'd be something creative. The whole idea, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, is you are no longer limited by your know-how or your skill set. You're now just limited by your creativity. So get out there and start making some cool shit. All right. This video is going to go up, so I'm going to bed because it is 12:30 in the a.m. So this is James from Myron Tech. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.